Hey, and welcome to Unlearning Stress, the podcast where we break the rules and cycles that keep you overcommitted, overstretched, and just plain exhausted, and replace them with something better. No fluff, no guilt, just real talk, real solutions, and expert insights to help you shift the way you live. Whether you're here for the first time or you've been with me for a while, you're in the right place. I'm Mischelle O'Neill, your resident emotional wellness coach, and I'm here to help you unlearn the patterns that are wearing you down so you can live with more ease, clarity, and control. Let's get to it. Hey, come on in. Did you feel that? No, really. Did you feel it? You see, look, it's nothing. Did you get it? Absolutely nothing on your mind. Nothing. No meal to fix, no email to answer, nobody calling your name, just nothing. How does that feel? Or did you miss it? No, I'm sorry. That's exactly what I want to talk about today. The ability to just have nothing. Hey, I'm Mischelle O'Neill, and thank you for taking your break with me today. Look, let me ask you something. I know that was a little dramatic, but when do you not do it? Think about the morning that you've already picked out your clothes the night before so that when you get up in the morning, you don't have to think about it. That's one less thing that you have to think about, right? That's all part of your routine. So that when you do get up, you can just start moving at full blast. You can start moving as on autopilot. Can't talk today, right? You lather up your washcloth. Well, you get in the shower first, right? So you lather up your washcloth. You start washing your body. There's a certain rhythm. There's certain parts that you do first, and you're doing all the things you do, and you didn't even have to think about it. You just did it. You don't have to tell your body, okay, do the right shoulder first. Do this, lather it up, make sure I do my face first, whatever it is. You don't have to tell yourself to do that because that's a rhythm that you've built. And what happens is you do this so your mind is free. So what do you do with that other stuff, that freedom? What do you do with it? You start thinking of other things that you have to do. It went straight to work. That's what happened with your mind, right? Come on, I'm telling the truth. So you start thinking, what else did I have to do today? What do I need to grab on my way out that door? Did I remember my keys? Where did I put them? Are they upstairs? Are they downstairs? It's cold today. Which coat do I want to wear? Well, what shoes do I want to wear today? Uh, what other things are you thinking about? What do I need to grab? What do I need to make sure I get before I go out that door? Because I have to take it with me. You're physically in the shower, taking a shower, but mentally, you're already walking through that process of getting out that door. Come on, I know that's you. Raise your hand. Now, I want you to think about Thanksgiving dinner because I'm going to show you how much you do this all through your life and every day. Now, that's something, Thanksgiving dinner or some big dinner that you're planning for family or friends or whatever. That's something that most of us can identify with because we're going to eat and we're going to invite people over. Well, most of us. And so you've already mapped the whole thing out before you touch a single pat, right? Okay, I got to plan this. I got to make sure that everything comes out hot on time. So the macaroni has to go in or be ready to go into the oven right after the dressing because the dressing takes about an hour and 30 minutes and the turkey is already done. So the macaroni only takes 45 minutes. And so I'm going to put that in. And while that's in, I'm going to go ahead and put the greens, rewarm the greens on the stove. And I'm get the rolls out so that they're sitting there and they're rising. And when the macaroni comes out, right? Now I'm gonna put the rolls on. And the rolls are take the time that it's gonna take me to put the food on the table. So when I put the food on the table and call everybody, we have blessing and everything, the rolls will be ready, hot, and coming out of the oven. Phew. I just ran the whole sequence in my head. And so do you automatically. You're already thinking through the whole process. And one more, my favorite, the grocery store, right? You're not reading the signs. You've already pretty much figured out what is it that I need to get at the grocery store. And you did store, and you did. You wrote it down on your list. You have a list. Where's your list? In your purse? On your phone? Are you looking at it? No, because you know that pretty much you're going to remember everything. But not only are you going to remember what you need to get, you pretty much got that store locked, stock, and barrel in your brain. So you know exactly what part of the store you're going to go to, when, and the whole map, right? You know that the meat's in the back, and when I go down there to get the meat, if I turn right, that aisle right there is where the sodas are. The sodas on the left, the water's on the right, whatever. You know that store. And so you're going to plan your whole trip going up that aisle so that you don't forget a thing because you've got it planned out in your mind. And then what happens? At the very end, as you get to the cash register or get to the self checkout, before you go through that line, you look at your list. Yeah, that's when you look at it. Is there anything I forgot before I leave? And whatever that one thing is, or maybe you didn't forget anything, you run back and get it. But that grocery list isn't your guide, it's your afterthought. It's to make sure that you've carried out every aspect of what you set out to do. And look, if this is you, and I know this is you, well, at least it's me, raise your hand and let me know. Here's what I want you to understand. There's a reason for me going through those scenarios and through that whole thing, because I wanted you to see that we all do it. And thinking, planning, that's not the problem. That's a good thing. It's great that you can do that. Being a thinker, that's a gift. And I want you to be proud of it. Seeing 3 steps ahead before anyone else sees one, that's amazing. Anticipating what needs to happen before anyone else knows that there's something to actually think about. Oh my gosh, that is so valuable. That's what makes you the one that people count on because they know somehow you've thought of something that they've absolutely forgotten, or you're gonna think of something. So you're gonna make sure that everything is planned out, that everything runs right, because you run a tight ship. But here's the thing that shows up in your conversations, that thinking has been running in the background of your life for so long that you stop noticing it. You would almost say that's just who you are. And because you stop noticing it, nobody else does either. Nobody counts it. Nobody sees it. That's just who you are, right? Well, researchers actually have a name for what's going on. And sociologist Alison Demiger at the University of Wisconsin's I can't even talk. Wisconsin Madison, got it out, calls it cognitive labor. And we've talked about emotional labor, where there's also cognitive labor. But what I call it, it's one of the 3 loads that we carry every day. And it's the thinking load. And it's really the one that lays in the background and almost the heaviest. It's the work of anticipating what needs to happen and figuring out how to make it happen and deciding and then monitoring to make sure that it all comes together. And where most people write all this down, the majority of the time you hold this in your head. And what Allison Damager's research found is this: you don't work, or you do the work. How did I say? You do the work of anticipating what needs to happen and that monitoring to make sure that everything comes together practically all on your own. Nobody else is doing all of that. You're entirely by yourself. And that anticipating everything that I'm talking about, that's something that you're doing at the very beginning. And monitoring, you're doing after everybody else has already moved on. We don't have time to do those check boxes. You made the list, but to take the time to check it off, that's time that you don't have. So you're running that list, you're running it through your mind in real time. And that whole thing just lives in your head. Nobody sees any of it. Nobody's a mind reader. Nobody that knows what's going on inside your hair. And really, does anybody care as long as they get what they need? So you don't even think about it much yourself, do you? It's just what you do. You just do it. It's how you process through your day. It's how you live most of your day. And that right there is exactly what we need to talk about. I want you to get this. You're not just doing that invisible thinking. You're a 360-degree thinker. You're thinking every way all around that problem. You see the whole picture, the good and the bad, what could go right and what could go wrong. And you're always scanning and thinking of every possibility, every scenario, everything that could happen. You're always preparing so you don't get caught unprepared or unaware. That's just how we're wired. And so when we see something coming, when we see that train about to derail, everything in us wants to say something. Everything in us wants to pull that lever and slide everything to the next track so nothing hurts or nothing happens bad. We want to share it. We want to help, to warn, because we love these people. We care about these people and we don't want to see them get hurt. Tell me, do you know what I'm talking about? Is this you? And for some reason, you think that if you see it, you've got to stop it. I mean, if we see something about to happen, don't we stop it? Think about that automatic reaction we have when we're driving and we have our child or there's someone in the seat beside us, right? And we hit the brakes because that car in front of us stopped. What is our automatic reaction? The arm. Because we want to stop disaster from happening. We want to protect that person. But this is what happens. A lot of times in life, because we see that disaster or we want to save other people, we insist on sharing it. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody asked you to step in, and you always have something to say. You're trying to take control of that situation. Sometimes you become the Debbie Downer. How many times has people told you in your life, you're always bursting that bubble? When they're sharing something fantastic that they've come up with or that happened in their life, or they're thinking about what they want to do next, and they want to share it with you, and they want you to be just as excited as they are, you burst that bubble because you're thinking not only of what they want to do, but everything that can go wrong, everything that could happen. And you just want to make them think realistically. You just want them to think it through. Make sure that you're prepared emotionally for this thing, no matter which way it goes. And because you've learned over time that you're that Debbie Downer, that you burst people bubbles, you've learned to stay quiet. You swallow what you see. You watch it unfold in a way that you already knew that it would. And that itself is its own kind of exhaustion because you're holding that in. You're swallowing what you really want to protect. Have you ever watched something happen that you saw coming and said nothing? Have you been able to do that? Raise your hand. So here's the lesson in all of this. And this one took me a long time to get over or to accept. When you stay quiet and let people move through life, most times they learn how to win. They learn self-control. And those are things that if you take that away from them, if you step in, they can't create or develop the muscle that they need to develop on their own. They can't build that strength, learn how to walk through life, how to deal with problems if you keep stepping in. And over time, you learn to keep it to yourself, right? To see it and not to act on it and not to react. You told them to put that seatbelt on, lock that door. That's their responsibility. Does the thinking stop? No, it's still going on in there. It doesn't stop. And that's your struggle. But you get to the point where you can release it without acting on it, without reacting to it. And that's the difference. Not that you stop seeing it, but you learn that you don't have to do something with everything that you see. You're not responsible for every outcome that you see coming. I want you to get this. You're not God. And that's the hardest thing that you'll ever have to learn to release. You're not responsible for other people's life, and you can't control the outcome. Now, here's what I really want you to sit with. Your stuff is on the list, and it's always been on the list. You know what you've planned for yourself, and you know what you want to do. You know what you've been working towards, but it keeps getting pushed down. I want you to get that. Your stuff, you know what you want to do. It's on your list. But because you're so wrapped into the outcome of everybody else's list, because you want to help so bad, you want to take away the disappointment of others so bad, you keep pushing down the things that are on your list, the things that are for you, the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you've always wanted to do. You haven't erased them. That's not what I'm saying. You've just delayed them so that what happens is you just squeeze them in wherever you can find that sliver of space. You start thinking, how can I slide this into my day? How can I get this done while I'm taking care of everything else? You know, that nail appointment that you didn't put in your list, but hey, I got 15 minutes. Let me see if they're available and I can just slide it in. Oh man, time got away from me. Does that sound familiar? And what should have only taken what you've planned out in your business, in your life? What should have only taken a few days? What should have only taken a month has now taken years. How many pals do you have in your house that you could have done if you've just taken an hour or a day to go through it? It would have been gone. But now it's sitting there and has sat there most of the year for 6 months or whatever. Let me know. Is that you? Because I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And here's what I want you to understand and why this keeps happening to you. It's not just the people that you love, it's that you care. You genuinely care about the people in your life. And I'm talking about whether it's at work, whether it's home, at church, in a community meeting, even that person who checks you out in the grocery store. You're thinking about her or him and wondering about their family and their life because you want them to win in the game of life. You want to be the one who encourages them, who nurtures them, who helps them achieve. And that's not a flaw. That's a beautiful thing. And that's who you are. But here's the cost to all of that. Your important moments, they keep getting pushed down to later so that you can show up for everyone else's important moments. Not because anyone is forcing you to do this, but because that's just who you are and what you do. And then when you finally look at that dream, that project, that thing that you've been wanting to do, that's been on your list for years, you know what you feel? It's not guilt, not grief and disappointment. It's resignation. It's just what it is. It is what it is. And you know what? You say to yourself, I'm going to be okay regardless. It's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last. And that right there, that quiet acceptance, that's what all of this invisible thinking is actually costing you. Not in one dramatic moment, but just slowly over time, year after year, your stuff keeps getting pushed down. You keep telling yourself, I'm going to be okay. It's not that important. I've gotten through it and it hasn't broken me. And you know what? You will be okay. But okay was never what you had in mind for yourself. And I want to leave you with that thought before I go. It's not about being first on the list. We always say, put yourself first. And it was never about being first. It was about valuing yourself in the same way that you value others. You have an important place in your own life, just like they do. This is not an either or, but a both and. You can give help. You can lift others up and you can serve others well, but not at the expense of yourself. Both and. You can do both that, helping and taking care of others, and helping and taking care of yourself. And that's what I want to leave you with today. And now I just want to thank you for sitting here with me today, for taking your break with me, for listening with me and having this important conversation. And I'd love to hear from you. What are you changing in your life that becomes your both and? And until next time, you're here with Mischelle O'Neill. Take care. Bye-bye. If this episode hits home, don't just push it aside. Lean into it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And connect with me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Substack, where we go even deeper. Links will be in the comments. And And if you're ready to start unlearning the patterns that keep you stuck, keep listening, because real change happens one choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.